Good morning, everyone. So, for today, we are going to discuss The Jilting of Granny Weatherall by Catherine Ann Porter. And in this topic, we are going to know the role of cultural sensitivity in a classroom setting. Objectives. Identify what is cultural sensitivity. In this topic, we are going to identify the importance of cultural sensitivity on a classroom settings. Differentiate cultural awareness and cultural sensitivity. There are a major difference between the two. And in here, today, we're going to discuss that. And last one is to demonstrate cultural awareness and sensitivity in a classroom setting. So, let's dive into the author. Her name is Kelly Russell Porter, also known as Catherine Ann Porter. She was born on May 15, 1890 and died on September 18, 1980. She is an American journalist, essayist, short story writer, novelist, poet, and a political activist. And she grew up with her grandmother because her father could not raise them all five. That's why she grew up with her grandmother, and her grandmother was the sole reason why she wrote the story, The Jilting of Granny Weatherall. Before we dive into the topic, let's have a quick activity. Let us know what those profound words means. The first one is, he speaks in a condescending tone to her even after she snaps at him. What does condescending tone means? Angry? Let's try. No. How about superior? That's right. Condescending tone means superior. If you want to hold authority to the person you are talking to, you are going to use the condescending tone. Next one is, Granny thinks suddenly of death, and the thought of it feels clammy and unfamiliar. What does the word clammy means? Let's try satisfied. No. Unpleasant. Clammy means unpleasant. Nearing death is something that we cannot control of, right? So for her, Granny feels unpleasant or clammy because she's near death. The second one, or the last one, is Granny remembers Father Connolly as a man fond of gossip and cursing, rather than as a particular pious priest. What does the word pious or pious means? Let's try devoted. That's right, devoted. Pious is another term for devoted, and Father Connolly is an opposite of a devoted priest. Now, let's dive into the topic about cultural awareness and sensitivity. I will show you a very short video differentiating the two.
Cultural awareness and cultural sensitivity are two both different things. Cultural awareness means understanding that people have different customs, beliefs, and ways of life based on their culture and experiences.
Okay, so cultural awareness means you are aware, you are fully aware, and you know the background of one's beliefs, culture, customs. While
Cultural sensitivity is respecting those differences and being careful not to offend or judge others for having them.
sensitivity is that you respect their beliefs, their religions, their culture, and you try not to offend them in any ways you can. So, you can be aware without being sensitive, and that is not right. You must be aware and you must be sensitive enough to know who you are talking to. Okay? Are you clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's now dive into the topic. The jilting of Granny Weatherall. The story is a short story by American author Catherine Ann Porter and was published in 1930 as part of Flowering Judas and Other Stories. So this means that this was only a part of her many stories, and it tells the story of an elderly woman named Ellen Weatherall who is lying on her deathbed. And as she drifts in and out of her streams and consciousness, she reflects on life and the choices she has made. The first one is Dr. Harry visits Granny Weatherall in her deathbed. As he speaks to her, he uses condescending tone. So what does condescending mean? It means authoritative, superior tone to her because she is stubborn and she is being in denial of death. The next one is, when Granny was about to sleep, she heard her daughter Cornelia and Dr. Harry whispering to each other outside the hallway. And they claimed that she was never like this. She was never annoying like this, unlike before. And this infuriates Granny. She doesn't like the feeling of being gossiped about when she still feels perfectly fine. So she decided that she would like to spank Cornelia, but not in a literal way. She drifts back into her memory when Cornelia was still a child and decided to spank her. Granny considered death. And this one, as we all know, Granny is obviously denial of death. She feels clammy and unfamiliar. Clammy means unpleasant, and the feeling of nearing death is unpleasant. She doesn't like that feeling. The next one is the jilting at the altar. This was the first jilting of Granny Weatherall and the main part of the story. Why she has traumas and why she doesn't want to deal with death. 60 years ago, she was jilted at the altar. What does jilting mean, or jilt? It means you are being abandoned or you were abandoned. You know, in 1930s, during this period, women being abandoned on their wedding day, they would be treated as trash. They are nothing like other women who are married. So for her, she decided, the feeling was hell. Father Connolly arrives, the priest. They're supposedly priests and in their supposedly marriage. Father Connolly is a man fond of gossips and he does cursing. He is the opposite of a particularly pious priest who is devoted. Father Connolly is the opposite of a devoted priest. Nevertheless, she seems quite assured in her religion. Last one, Granny Weatherall's second jilting. She was jilted again. By whom? By God. Why? Because she asked for a sign. She asked for a sign if she is ready to die. But then, God did not give her any signs. During their period, other cultures asked for signs, right? For signs to do something or to not do something. But then, she did not receive any signs. For the second time around, there was no bridegroom and priest in the house. There was no other grief or sorrow that could wipe away the feeling that she has been feeling. So she decided that she stretched herself with a deep breath and blew out of light. In here, blue out of light means